Fucking a UV TV, motherfucker. I'm at a kid special ass and do this for my people. Oh God. Neon nigga for feathering me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about God given privileges supersede every right, sense of entitlement, or being overly spoiled. So look at that as every right as basic human rights and stuff like that, all the way down to different things we have based upon civilization and society and a court law system and all that type stuff, code of conduct, principle, rules, all that type stuff. I'm not trying to say I don't want no order because I don't want y'all to turn this into some counterculture anarchy or whatever the fucking stuff like that. No, we still need order, and you can't find order without chaos. So without people acting unruly and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, overall speaking, right, this is the more godly perspective of how to look at it from a more broader space. And this be the starting point. It's just y'all be looking at God like a deity, and y'all be deifying shit based upon idol worship and praising a certain shape or form of how that look like. But God is just all possibilities, the potential of anything can happen, and it's just all of creation or all of existence. So even if it's materialized or it's an inanimate object, it's still part of existence. So it's like an animism, and that mechanism and process of all of it together makes it what it is. When you try to discount certain perspectives or discount things based upon it going beyond just human, because y'all only think based upon some humanistic kind sympathetic ego and stuff like that. Oh, we're doing this for the sake of mankind and stuff like that. But y'all want to be men and women and have that humanistic trait in general if y'all ain't go through the other processes. So look at that as, oh, being like an animal or being wild or being undomesticated and stuff like that, or being barbaric, or you acting beastly, lower natured, right? And then the other shapes and forms of how look like, of how that look like. So look at that as like insects or like sails, but without the land or without the atmosphere or without the ground or without the trees, without the mountains, without the rivers, without the, you know what I'm saying, like the currents, without everything built together, it wouldn't make the world what it is. And it being the physical representation of the world of what it is now. So us being on Earth and stuff like that. And then Earth is a planet and it's something celestial, so it's something that's heavenly, but it's us bringing heaven on Earth, not us being a part of heaven and stuff like that, because this ain't heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's just the ground, the grounded, soiled, materialized version of what that is. So it can get played out into the physical and into the flesh, and it being the external world representation of what that is, but it's an accumulation of what the spirit and what the mind is doing. And the spirit is just the overall space, and it's just all of existence, the universe. So we make it universal, or we make the world, and it go no further than that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the simplest way of how I can put it. And then now, based upon those disclaimers, we can get into the video. But in general, right? A privilege is just a granted special beneficiary over somebody else. Now, look at these granted special beneficiaries like freedom, liberation, and having independence, us having free will, us being free flowing. Look at that like a talent, a gift, or like an opportunity. So from you having that God given ability, only you have that talent, only you have that skill set, only you got that gift, and it's a natural talent gift, and only you know how to go about it in your own individual. I can't even say the word individualistic way, because you have your own personality. Now, from you being your own person, it's a pure it's a pure sun. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a piece. So we have a piece of the sun, and the sun is like a star. It's just the natural mechanism of dusk till dawn, and it's a celestial body, and it's a natural mechanism that we see when it comes to the sun and the moon. That's everlasting and is never gonna stop. And it don't matter if y'all try to block out the sun to make it something else, or try to change the sky and change the atmosphere to make it something else. It's always gonna be that. Otherwise, it's the sky gonna be blue. It's not gonna be the sky turning red and stuff like that. And y'all better not put no shit in the atmosphere like some chemtrails or whatever to make it be anything else, because y'all just trying to be degenerates and y'all trying to control God. When, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all trying to be God, be all possibilities. No, it's just you trying to control the way that the you know what I'm saying? That's what God said. You know what I'm saying? That's the natural mechanism of what that shit is. God is just all possibilities. Don't get spooked out and look at that as, oh, this motherfucker talking about some deity, this motherfucker talking about some Abrahamic God and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about one realm of reality. I'm talking about all realms of reality. It's just that. You know what I'm saying? That's what God said be. So stop trying to control God and stuff like that, and you try to find your godly essence, your divine nature, not get lost into a divination. You try to be a creator, not get lost into the creation, or you only want motherfuckers to pay attention to your creations or pay attention to your ego and pay attention to your expression and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't just the only motherfucker out here who just expressing or creating shit out here and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like damn, like motherfuckers get blinded by the light, their own light spectrum. They get blinded by their own ego and stuff like that. And that's how you end up falling short even faster, because you can't let another motherfucker be a part of the performance. Let another motherfucker be a part of the stage. But that's here nor there. But just in general, yeah, look at privileges like a talent, gift, or opportunity. So you have your natural talents and gifts that you naturally know how to do. So look at that as you having your own mind, and you have your own worldview, and you have your own perspectives. So overall, from you having your own perspectives and your own way of how to go about things, right? Only you have that essence of what that is from your imagination and your creativity. So if you the main person who has that talent, gift, or opportunity, that's a God-given ability. That's a God-given opportunity, or that's a God-given talent that only you know how to make. That's like you being naturally talented at playing the guitar, but no one else in your family play the guitar. You know what I'm saying? That's the simplest way of how I could put it. The minute they put a guitar in your hands, for some reason you just naturally are infatuated with it, and you naturally know how to do it compared to everyone else in your family who probably not even into music like that. But for some reason you really into playing the guitar, like you Jimi Hendrix, and you really good at music and stuff like that. That's a God-given talent, and that's a God-given privilege, and God is giving you free will. So you have the free ability to create the circumstance you want to do based upon your natural capabilities of your natural calling. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like what you naturally are good at. And then the minute you end up finding that, you end up finding the purpose, and you're going to give it a meaning and reasoning, and you're just going to go from there. Anything else is just you trying to not take advantage of your God-given ability and awareness, and you being sentient and you being part of existence. Otherwise, your ass going to hell, and you don't want to be a part of existence. And don't get lost into the hell format of based upon religion and stuff like that. All that means is you not trying to be creative, and you ain't trying to have your own worldview. You ain't trying to have your own atmosphere. You ain't trying to have your own way of how to go about something, because you ain't utilizing your mind. And if you ain't trying to utilize your mind and stuff like that, God gonna keep on putting you in circumstances, a situation where your ass gonna end up being depressed, and you ain't trying to showcase your abilities and talents and your mind and your perspective and stuff like that. It's gonna make it look like, oh well, I'm just put you in circumstances where you're gonna be in misery, since you don't want to utilize your ass being alive right now. That's why you back right now. So you must not want to be grateful for the fact of you being alive, you being in existence, you having your own mind, you have your own way of how to go about your creativity, you having your own world, you having your own perspective and stuff like that. Apparently you don't want to be in your own pocket, so I'm gonna make it harder for you then, since you like making it hard for yourself. And that's the simplest way to put it. You being counterproductive instead of you being productive, and that's it. So for the most part, it leads to, privileges just leads to that sense of entitlement. So it's just giving a mentality a name and title. Now people like to exaggerate them giving their mentality a name and title, right? So it's that I got a PhD energy, or I got a badge, or I went through this schooling and stuff like that, right? And I have this skill set, and I have this license, so I'm certified. But it's based upon something, and I'm not even trying to say that's wrong, but I'm basically trying to say, because I'm trying to make y'all understand what the fuck I'm talking about, right? It's that entitlement type of energy. You think just because of that name and title, that means something. No, you need to showcase your ability that you're good at that thing, and beyond your name and title, right? Or like your representation and stuff like that. That's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? So you just get known for what you do based upon what you're capable of. And just because you have that name and title, that don't mean nothing. No, you have to prove you good at that. So that's like you being like a prince or something like that, and you are heir to the throne, right? But the person who's the king and queen right then, who took over the throne and stuff like that, you could be a bitch ass child. You know what I'm saying? We be seeing that when it comes to history and stuff like that. Like just cause you royalty and you the prince and stuff like that, you could be spoiled as fuck. You're not even taking like you got raised based upon your name and title, and that entitlement. That's why you have certain privileges. That's why you heir to the throne. You're the prince, but you ain't gonna be able to rule better or as good as your dad or your mother and stuff like that, right? Despite the fact you have that nepotism, despite the fact you have that title, despite the fact you have that name, despite the fact you are royalty and stuff like that, you have to prove that you're worthy of even having that name and title in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that privilege, entitlement type of energy come from. And then motherfuckers, based upon what they have externally speaking, right? They'll utilize that as, oh, that means something of me having $1 million, yet you don't even know how to use it from you having it. So yeah, it's just having a sense of entitlement. So because of a name and title, you feel you should be respected even if you haven't put in the work to stake your claim because of that name and title, based upon that nepotism and you being the heir of the throne, that allegory that I just said and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, like just because you got that based upon your networking, based upon who you know, or based upon that nepotism of, you know what I'm saying, like your lineage and stuff like that, your ancestors and what they did and stuff like that, it don't mean you know how to uphold it the same way they know how to do it, because you probably don't understand the nuance and the context and the essence of what it took to get there in the first place. And you know what I'm saying, so you don't got no skin in the game, but you think just because of the name and title from what the people who came before you and the skin they have in the game, you ain't even play the game yet. You ain't even a real player like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't even create the same. You ain't try to create a circumstance to where you do it better or just as good as them, and then it just you being in that spoiled type of energy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You just grew up privileged. You just grew up in a small world. You didn't know what it took to even make that world in the first place, and that's the simplest way of how I could put it. So, just in general, yeah. So when it comes to doing the right thing and doing it the right way and stuff like that, it's just being conservative. Don't get lost into the words I'm saying. Like look at that as like right wing and stuff like that. Even though they kind of play out this energy, but y'all don't really look at it like that. But being conservative just means like, old fashioned, traditional, but it just means to be contained. They're trying to hold on to what they already done created in the first place. So it's gonna have other people included, and it's gonna have the beneficiaries for everybody. So when you try to do the right thing and stuff like that, or you try to act just, or you trying to act fair, you're trying to act righteous, you're thinking it being beneficial for everybody based upon the customs or the traditions of what you're talking about. It's just when it comes to the political world, when it comes to America and stuff like that, that's what that means. See, it's really gonna go into a whole different thing, but it makes sense to what I'm talking about right now. When y'all be like, oh, that was the right thing to do, or that was righteous, or that was fair, or that was, you know what I'm saying, that he was trying to show his just dues and stuff like that, right? When it comes to politics in the Americanized version of what that is, okay, how did they take over America? They looked at it as the land of opportunity in the new world, but it's based upon them enforcing something. They had to do it by force based upon them bringing a whole bunch of different foreigners and a whole bunch of different, including my people, black people and stuff like that, and how they crippled them and made them into slaves, and then bringing them all over to this land based upon Native Americans and try to take over their culture so they can make some new type of culture cosplaying the world or the culture of what Native American did and stuff like that. And they try to manipulate and commodify it in a way to what we have now as the Americanized system of it being a big ass melting pot of a whole bunch of different cultures, and them trying to uphold that based upon what they did years and years ago and stuff like that. And I'm not even trying to hate on America right now. I'm just trying to make a point. I'm just trying to make it make sense. So that's what they look at as right. So even if they made a constitution, even if they made different amendments, even if they made a code of conduct, even if they made laws and regulations and stuff like that, they just made it in the mind state of, oh, we did that shit. We did all that criminality shit, but you gonna go to jail, and we gonna look at you as a problem, and we gonna chastise your ass from going against some shit we made based upon what we did on this land and stuff like that by force. And we can do it, but you can't do that shit. So we gonna be your new guy, and we gonna be the eye of providence, and we gonna watch your ass if you try to do what we did, even though we low-key like that, y'all acting out in that energy because that's what we did to make it so we could have this society right now. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the simplest way of how to put it. So that's what they look at as right. That's what they look at as justified, and that's the starting point. So that's how it was beneficial for everybody. Them talking about everybody is, yeah, we did this for y'all. We made it so you can have the society we have now and stuff like that, based upon them thinking from those meaning and reasonings and purposes. Them acting like 21st century Protestants and stuff like that. They had to go against the government of Europe and do what they did over here to America by taking over someone else's land and then cosplaying as the representation of what that is. And that's what it means to be a part of America and patriotism and stuff like that. And it's the 50th anniversary of them doing that shit for 250 years. And then that's it. And then that's it. So and them fighting for that shit for like 100 years, 100 to 200 years. It's really 400 years, but it's them fighting for that for like the first half 150 years, and then it led to what we got now, it being established for 250 years. So 400 years of them trying to play off that mentality and stuff like that, and them trying to uphold it all the way up to what we got now in 2026. So in general, right, that's what they look at as right. That's what they look at as a beneficiary of being a part of America, and then that's it. And if you don't think in that capitalistic type of way, they, you know what I'm saying? If you don't look at it, if you don't try to be in that crab in a barrel type of mentality and stuff like that, they start looking at you weird, because they're gonna look at you like you trying to do something, make your own little civilization outside of their civilization, and you need to be a father of a nation and follow these presidential things that we did, or you know what I'm saying, like based upon how they built the Constitution, you have to do it in that way. You have to capitalize off of somebody. So if you ain't doing that, they look at you weird, because that's what they look at as right, and that's what they look at as beneficial for everybody, so to speak. So that's the tradition, that's the custom, that's being conservative, that's being old fashioned, that's upholding real American values. You capitalize off of somebody, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then them trying to commodify it and commercialize it in a way of how they see fit, so they could repackage it in a way to where everybody can be a part of it and stuff like that. And that's when it leads to stuff like Burger King, McDonald's, and all that type of stuff, even though it's fake synthetic meat, but it's booming business wise, even if it don't taste or feel good to eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's processed. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't go with the process and stuff like that, they start looking at your ass weird for going against it, even though that's the true nature of you doing something for yourself, you doing something more at your own volition, and you being more authentic. But you giving your just due is just giving something the proper attention and making esoteric currency instead of you being a debt. Instead of you being in debt, the same way how the Americanized system is made just in general, them being in debt to what Europe is doing, because that's why they fought for their independence and their freedom and stuff like that, and that's why they have that sense of entitlement of what they did to separate from there so they can do what they did in America and stuff like that. But it just leads to them being in debt, and they always need their values, or they always need their help or their money and their foreign affair support system when it comes to the commerce and the trading system and stuff like that. See, it's going to go into a whole bunch of different things based upon the economy and stuff like that. But yeah, like, it's like, oh, we want our own freedom and independence to do something on our own, but at the same time, like, we fought y'all to make it so we can do that, and then they respected it, but they are the starting point of where they came from, so they still need their help in a way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it just leads to those type of energies. So it's like that's how they got that entitlement, that's how they got that freedom, that's how they got that independence and that liberation and stuff like that. And for the most part, that's how they got that diplomatic immunity and stuff like that, based upon their lineage, to protect their lineage by making a law paperwork system to make it so they justify for doing that, and anybody who come after them, they can't do that. Or if you're not part of that lineage, if you ain't part of that family of who made America and stuff like that, they can't do it. So it's like, yeah, it just leads to diplomatic immunity and them being invulnerable or unaffected, or witness protection and stuff like that, or them having more of an advantage, or them having more things going in their favor, or at least external wise, it make it look like, oh, it's going to go more in their favor because they snitched, or you going with the law system that they don't made and stuff like that, or you know what I'm saying, like, you listening to your lawyer on a higher percentage scale to make it so you get a better predicament instead of you going to jail by telling everything that happened and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's leading to them having that higher value or superiority God complex and stuff like that. But to gain privileges in a godly way is you have to go through the losses and being at a disadvantage, or being responsible for something you don't even give a fuck about in general. So in order for you to create a sense of entitlement, you actually have to care about what you did. You have to take that actual accountability, and you have to try to create a scenario where you can, you know what I'm saying, you try to create something for yourself, and you cultivated that at your own volition instead of trying to cosplay what someone else is doing and make it look like it's justified and stuff like that. You crippling or commodifying, trying to manipulate what someone else did, but make it look like you created it and you the representation, because cutthroat business tactics and stuff like that. But it's never gonna be that naturally and genuinely. We're just gonna look at you like you a snake or you a fuck nigga, and the only reason you in that position is from you acting like a degenerate and you acting like a fuck nigga. It's just they just so happen, based upon America, make a system to make that okay when it's not. It's not based upon like some moral principle or whatever. Not moral principle as in, oh, this is good, this is bad. You just didn't do it in a genuine way. You did it in a fuck nigga way. So just look at that as they was able to pimp their situation. They just commodified and manipulated it and capitalized off of something in general. But it's gonna put you more in esoteric depth, like DEBT, like esoteric depth, because the way how you got that currency, you didn't try to put yourself in that space. You didn't try to create it for yourself. You just took something that someone else created and you tried to manipulate it to make it so you could be the representation, but you ain't the person who created it in the first place. And then that's it. That's all. So God-given privileges supersede every right, sense of entitlement, and being overly spoiled. Because if it's God-given, like a natural talent, gift, or skill set and stuff like that, natural imagination, creativity, and things of that nature, you able to do it more at your own volition, and that's the true freedom, liberation, respiration, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Instead of you try to take what someone else created, right? You're just gonna create a situation where, okay, well, I'm gonna make a system, or I'm gonna make a space, I'm gonna make a world where, okay, we're gonna create that outside of what y'all got going on, and we're not hating on what y'all going on. Just let us create this out of our own volition, outside of what you trying to do and stuff like that. And then anything else based upon them hating, anything else from them trying to block or filter or commodify or manipulate your creativity from you doing it at your own volition. And that's the thing that makes you feel free, because we all got free will. So if anyone try to block that, it is only going to send them to hell. It's only going to make them look bad. It only going to make them look like a hater. It's only going to send them to hell and make them look like a new 21st century Pooh Shiesty demon or whatever. And then shout out, shout out Pooh Shiesty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hate, trying to say motherfucker a demon or whatever, because niggas get lost based upon the words I'm using. But y'all know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm basically saying them trying to be deadly. You know what I'm saying? Like a demon is just a descending man. It's just a deadly man. Man as in thoughts and ideas. And how far you want to go in that direction. So if it's something that's deathly or like venomous or like poisonous and stuff like that, it's something that's harmful. So it's like you trying to descend, or you trying to project harmful type of energies against somebody else. And from you trying to project hate or you trying to project harm against somebody else, and especially if it's not for good reasons and stuff like that, or you trying to defend yourself, all you doing is making yourself go through some spiritual evaporation faster. All you doing is making it harder for yourself, because you doing something that's harmful for yourself and others, instead of trying to get that esoteric CVS pill. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you trying to heal yourself, look at that as doing something for the sake of your well-being, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Instead of you doing something that's harmful for your spiritual health, harmful for your mental health and well-being, and harmful for your physical health too, for the most part. And then that's all we see. You just being a walking degenerate, and then that's it.